Just go edit it. Why do I feel like my fingers are blocking the thing? Okay, like this, it's better, no? Sure, the light is fine. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Remember we had a discussion about Pan-Africanism, and today our same guest that was in the video of last week is still here with us. We are going to proceed into a further discussion. We are going to tackle the Pan-Africanism into an in-depth, a deeper version of it. We are going to understand why is it that Pan-Africanism is only working for a few African countries and not for all of the African countries. This is Nawage. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm Penny. Thank you so much for subscribing. Don't forget to comment below and like, and also hit the bell button, to get notifications when I upload new videos. So why do you think that when African leaders are presented deals by the Western countries, when they sign it with consent, knowing that it will only benefit them to a certain extent, meaning it will not benefit them for, like, futuristically speaking, like it won't benefit them for 10, 15, 20, for 60 years to sustain their future younger generation? Do you think these leaders are selfish enough to just sign off deals because they will benefit while they are still alive? Do you think they sign off thinking about the younger generation?
Thank you very much, Penny, for your question, and I appreciate being on your show as well, and then I hope your show grows as well. We need discussions like this here in Namibia right now. Well, if you look at all these most of these African leaders that we have, right, they are old people. That is why most of them lack the foresight for young people. We need relatively younger leaders here in Africa right now, as younger leaders can understand young people's problems here in Africa.
Yes.
You know, I got these facts from TED. All right, TED is a global platform where they discuss about what's happening globally. Business-wise especially.
Yes.
And most of the time these days they're focusing on Africa, because Africa is the only continent that is left out which still hasn't fulfilled its potential. And everyone in the world knows that Africa has potential to actually become a giant amongst giants. So they were even saying 60% of Africa's 1.2 billion population is aged between 15 to 30 years old. All right, these are young people. Majority of the people in Africa are young people. These African leaders that we have are leading young people. When they make these deals, they're not putting or taking into cognizance the fact that they're leading young people, and whatever decision they're going to make, whatever deal they're going to sign, is going to affect those people. So most of the time they're doing it short term, how they benefit quickly, because they know they don't have much time.
Yes.
So Africa should move from this point where, you know, people are egocentric, they become shenanigans.
Yes.
There's some sort of mafioism just because you're old and you want to make sure that your family eats.
Yes.
We need leaders who are consultative, leaders who are democratic, African leaders who ensure that whatever deal that's being signed on the table is vehemently scrutinized, verified, alternatives taken into consideration, analyzed, and then you then come to your decision. This is what most African governments are lacking. This is what most African leaders are lacking, because they lack foresight, and as a result, you actually see us in the end making them sign deals that would probably be detrimental to young people in the next 20 or 40 years.
Yes. Okay, I'm speaking about African youths, and you also mentioned that the majority of the African population are the youths. And also, if we could take this information and put it into perspective with regards to the economic indicators, which is employment and the GDP. Currently in Africa, the youth are the ones that are mostly unemployed.
Yeah.
And also currently in Africa, specifically to Namibia, we are bounding this discussion to Namibia. Specifically in Namibia, the youth are the majority that are unemployed, and also the youth are the majority that are in population. would you blame the African leaders, in this case being the older citizens, because they are the ones ruling the youth, as you mentioned? Would you say the African leaders are not entirely to be blamed for this type of leadership? Because at the end of the day, the youths are energetic, the youth are constantly being educated, they are annually graduating from universities. Why is it, or how can these specific graduates or these youth, energetic, healthy, young youths, why is it that they are failing to create employment for themselves? And this is including the spirit of entrepreneurship. Why is it that these youths are failing to just engage in the spirit of entrepreneurship? Would you say it's because of lack of source, which is funds, or would you say that because they are not entirely motivated into doing so?
That's a very good question there. But then I'll answer it in 3 parts. The first part, I'll just say that government regulations in Africa are very prohibitive. Okay? There are a lot of red tapes. The bureaucratic procedures are so much that you end up being discouraged. That's one of the reasons why young people are not really engaging within, educated young people are not really engaging within African economies. Okay? And then the second part, I would just like to say, government themselves are not motivating the youth. Okay? They need to be out there motivating young people. For me, there's only one country in Africa that's doing it and very well. That's Botswana. The Botswana economy is based on diamonds. But the way they've used their diamonds to diversify, we're not talking about diversification, we're talking about new products, new markets. The way they've used their diamond funds to diversify into an economy that is powered by small, medium enterprises is so amazing. We should actually, all Africa should actually copy the model of Botswana. Now, most young people in Botswana who have a college degree own a business. 80% tops. They don't work for anyone, they're working for themselves. This is what we need to do here in Africa. Now, the third and foremost part is I think we need to change the education curricula of Africa, all right? Especially in African universities. We need to encourage much more entrepreneurship. We need to encourage much more of finding gaps, much more ventures, right? This is what our education system should start basing on. Yes, you can learn economics. Yes, you can learn accounting. But how are you going to use that accounting to be an entrepreneur? How are you going to use that economics to be an entrepreneur? Remember, we said entrepreneurship is finding gaps, all right? How are you going to use that economic degree to find a gap? So this is what we need to start encourage African leaders to promote, African governments. But nevertheless, last comment, I would just like to say Africa needs to get her act right. Starting from here in our homeland in Namibia, we need to start getting our act right. This thing of us having 54 different diverse economies will not work. The only thing that will work in terms of making Africa move fast and at a higher magnitude is if these African economies integrate. When they integrate, trust me, employment will be easier to create.
Thank you so much. That is all we had for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching my channel. And entrepreneurship should be encouraged in all universities. Entrepreneurship should be encouraged in all sectors of this economy. And most of all, let us not forget that we can only encourage entrepreneurship if we are willing to introduce new industries, okay? Because the existing industries are packed to capacity. The existing industries are no longer making the revenues that they used to make because they have to split. The barriers of entry in the existing markets have reached its peak. I mean, it's easy to enter the taxi business, it's easy to enter the hair salon business, it's easy to enter a university business, it's easy to open up a kindergarten business. Like the existing industries are packed to capacity. So if you are young and you are very vibrant and you want to start a business of your own, try to think a little bit deeper, try to think a little bit beyond your existing environment. Go out to the Opua settlement, go to the Damara land settlement, go to the Herero land settlement. There are a lot of services that these people don't have. There are a lot of needs that are not met yet. Don't you ever settle for uniformity, because at the end of the day we are going to be a nation that is known for only doing what everybody else is doing, and we are going to go down in history as a nation that managed to obtain its independence, but it failed to give its citizens a proper, a sustainable economic independence or economic freedom. Thank you so much for watching.